Don't get cocky, you high school graduate. Someone like you with that level of education has no place in our company. You low-tier girl.
Without regard for others watching, the man sneers openly. Still, Lily walked with a firm attitude, not looking back.
When I started, there were other new hires just like me, and at reception, they handed me my employee ID. But mine was the only one like this.
Lily shows me her employee badge. When I see it, I almost gasp out loud. In large letters, her badge says, "High school graduate." I know how much effort Lily put in to secure this job offer. Hello, John? Yes, I'm calling to cancel that $77 million contract. From the other end, I hear his panicked voice. The man stares at me, utterly baffled. It doesn't matter if he's a company heir or not. I have made up my mind to protect Lily's smile, no matter what. Even if it means dragging someone down to hell. My name is Rhea Wilson. I'm 45, running my own company. I live with my 21-year-old daughter, Lily. I'm married, but my husband is so free-spirited that I don't even know where he is or what he's up to half the time. The business I manage is a consulting firm, mainly focused on retail facilities. I took over from my father when he retired to pursue his dream of farming in Montana. Besides consulting, we also handle large-scale projects, manage events, and even produce entire retail spaces. My father was the founder and a visionary who built this company into a we-do-it-all firm, thanks to his unstoppable energy. Recently, we've been working on a major year-round project involving a significant amount of money. This is all possible thanks to our reliable partner companies. I'm grateful every day for those around me, and I pour my heart into this job that I love.
You're becoming more and more like Grandpa, Mom. He was head over heels in love with his job too, right?
Lily said with a smile. I do think my father and I are similar. He also married my mom, a free spirit who's always jet-setting around the world. Both my dad and I believe that as long as our spouse is alive and well, it's all good, even if we don't always know where they are. Lily, it seems, has inherited this attitude from her dad, my husband. Back in the day, he was the kind of handsome guy who'd turn heads wherever he went. Lily especially takes after him around her eyes. With makeup, the resemblance isn't as strong, but as a kid, she looked just like him. Now Lily is already 21. She's at an age where she would normally be graduating college, but she never enrolled in the first place. In other words, she's a high school graduate. Even so, Lily worked hard on her own, and this year finally took the entrance exam for the company she'd always dreamed of joining. She could have chosen to work for my company, but she had told me,
Mom, I want to help out at your company eventually, but for now, I want to experience other things while I'm young. First, I want to join this company I admire and get some real experience.
She had made up her mind clearly. That stubbornness must have come from me. Unwavering in her beliefs, Lily took on the job application process. The company she wanted to work for, Cygnus Corporation, is one of the top real estate developers in the area. Nearly every major housing development and innovative building around here has been built by them. Lily, fascinated by architectural design from a young age, decided to apply there the moment she committed to finding a job. The company's policy of education optional, talent driven was a big motivator for her. I've known this company for years, and they've been our valuable client. With a trustworthy CEO in charge, I felt reassured and could fully support Lily through her job application process. And so, Lily passed the written exam and the assignment test. She finally cleared the final interview and secured her job offer. Lily, congratulations! The night we received the job's offer letter, we celebrated with Lily's favorite, fried chicken. And so, starting in April, Lily would be working at her dream company. Lily, are you heading out again today? You're really putting in the effort. Ever since she got the job offer, Lily had been going to the company almost every day until her start date. Even if she says she goes, she doesn't enter the office, but technically goes in front of the office.
That's right. Since I finally got in, there's no way I'd risk being late. So, I'm practicing my commute, preparing for any possible delay.
Lily is truly serious by nature. She's been using the time before her start date to simulate how long her commute would take if it rained or if the train was delayed, and planning alternative routes. Based on this, she's trying to calculate the time she'd need to avoid being late. She's already gathered data on different scenarios, like heavy rain, sudden storms, unexpected train delays, and even forgetting her train pass. Naturally, the best data would come from commuting during rush hour, but Lily explained.
I'd feel terrible if someone who really needed to get on the train couldn't because of me.
With this mindset, she'd been avoiding rush hour and her simulations. Even back in her school days, Lily used to say, "I don't want to make excuses for being late." She says it's natural to expect everything, and the excuse is the result of failing to prepare. Even though I was a mother, I thought it was hard to hear. For my part, my routine involves working from home in the morning, having lunch with Lily, and heading to the office in the afternoon. This arrangement allows me to take my time in the mornings and see her off.
All right, I'm off.
She said this and left the house, simulating a morning rush. During high school, Lily had achieved outstanding grades. She could have chosen any university she wanted but decided against attending altogether. Though she never mentioned it, I believe her choice was rooted in the bullying she faced from classmates. Lily gave serious thought to the value of school and chose not to go to college. As her mother, I respected her decision and trusted her judgment. Now, Lily has more smiles and seems genuinely happy. I want to protect that for her. If anyone tried to take that happiness away from her, I'd never forgive them. That's how precious Lily is to me. She is my most irreplaceable treasure. About 2 weeks into her morning commute simulations, Lily came home looking a bit down. She usually returned around 11 a.m., but today it was already past noon. I thought she might have been out shopping, but that didn't seem to be the case. Well, that's unusual. Did something happen? I casually asked, pretending not to notice anything unusual. Lily immediately forced a smile in my direction.
Sorry I'm late. It's nothing really. Let's get started on lunch.
With that, she sat at the dining table and dug into the sandwiches I had prepared.
Mom, your egg sandwiches are the best. So good.
She was back to her usual self, so I decided not to press further that day. But when this continued for a week, I couldn't ignore it anymore. Still, knowing Lily, she'd only say, It's nothing, if I asked. She'd always been like that. So this time, I decided to take matters into my own hands. At 8:30 a.m., right after Lily left the house, I headed out as well. The mornings are crowded. Even though she avoids rush hour, it's still pretty packed. As a wave of nostalgia washed over me, I also felt a deep appreciation for all those who commute by train every day. I could see why Lily thought this simulation was necessary. It looked like she got off one stop before her actual destination. This is probably Lily's own way of being strategic. It seems like a method that allows for a relaxed commute while incorporating some walking. After a 15 minutes walk, she arrived at her destination about 30 minutes early. As she reached the office, a large billboard on the building wall immediately caught her eye. This company is well known for featuring the model and influencer Harry Davidson in their advertisements. When Lily arrived at the company, she immediately stared at the billboard. It's the same at home. Every time he appears on TV, Lily watches him with an affectionate gaze, never looking away. Then, a man approached Lily. Noticing him, she quickly tried to walk away. I couldn't understand what was happening, so I listened in carefully.
Hey, here again today, huh? Trying to act like you're annoyed? But you really just came to see me, didn't you?
There was something so sleazy about his tone that I felt a slight wave of disgust. The man was dressed in an expensive suit with slightly overgrown dyed hair that gave him a flashy, almost arrogant look.
No, that's not it. Excuse me.
Lily tried to get away, but the man continued following her.
You're a Harry Davidson fan, aren't you? You're always staring at that sign. If you go out with me, I'll introduce you to him. Come on, stop playing hard to get.
When he reached out to touch Lily, I stepped in immediately, pulling her close. She's clearly not interested. Stop bothering her. The man looked startled by my sudden appearance. He looked at me, and in that brief moment, because I recognized him.
What the hell, lady? This is none of your business. Stay out of it.
Sorry, but I can't. I'm her mother. Now, if you'll excuse us. With my arm around Lily, I turned to leave.
Annoying. Get lost, you old hag.
I could hear him spewing insults behind us, but I ignored it and kept walking until we got home. Once there, I sat Lily on the couch and handed her a warm cup of tea to help her settle down. After a sip, she let out a deep sigh.
Mom, I'm sorry for making you worry.
With that, Lily started to explain what had happened. It began about a week ago. As she was doing her usual commute simulation and stopped in front of the billboard, the man from today approached her.
Oh, are you with our company? Wow, we're lucky to have such a pretty girl working here.
No, I'm just starting in April. I was only checking the commute route. Excuse me.
Lily had sensed something off about him right away. It's hard to explain, but she instantly felt, I should avoid this guy. As her mom, I admit Lily has an exceptionally beautiful face. Her long blonde hair is something she takes care of daily, giving it a glossy, captivating look. With Lily's looks, it's not uncommon for men to approach her on the street. Most guys back off after being turned down once, but that man felt different right from the start.
It's hard to describe, but he had this overwhelming confidence. Like he was important or just full of himself.
Yes, I thought, Every one of those descriptors fits perfectly. And with good reason. That man is the son of the CEO of Cygnus Corporation, the company Lily's joining. His name is Zach, and I'd heard from the CEO before that he'd been sent abroad because of his poor behavior. It looks like he's back now, set loose again. Just before Lily's start date, a troublesome man had shown up. And unfortunately, he had fixated on her. Apparently, he had been harassing her almost daily over the past week. She thought about stopping her commute practice, but kept going every day, knowing I'd worry if she didn't. "Lily, stop going to the office in the morning. You should stay home until your first day," I told her, but Lily shook her head.
Thanks, Mom, but I'll go just one last time tomorrow. If he's connected to the company, I need to make things clear. Otherwise, I won't feel right starting there.
Lily really is serious to a fault. That strong sense of principles, she must have gotten it from her dad. With the condition that I'd be watching from a distance, I agreed to her final commute simulation. The next day, Lily went to the office as usual. I stayed nearby, hidden in the shadow of a nearby building, watching. When Lily stopped to look at Harry Davidson's billboard, Zach appeared. My heart skipped a beat when I saw him. Zach wasn't alone. He had a group of followers with him. They were all dressed in expensive suits like Zach, but their demeanor seemed a bit rough around the edges.
So, you're joining us in April, huh? Better be careful. If you don't play nice with me, you might have a rough time at the office. Trust me, it's in your best interest to just go out with me. Got it?
This was practically a threat. Maybe he's used this tactic to intimidate other women before. I could see why his father had sent him abroad. Now I wondered why he'd been allowed back.
Zach, I'm very sorry, but I cannot date you. I'll never be able to do so, and please understand. But when I join the company, I intend to fulfill my responsibilities with full dedication. I hope to achieve solid results through my work, so I'd appreciate your support.
With that, Lily bowed deeply to Zach. Then she turned and began to walk away. Zach's face twisted with frustration as he shouted at her, retreating back.
Don't get cocky, you high school graduate. I saw your resume. With that kind of education, don't even think about joining our company.
His entourage joined in, mocking her as well. But Lily kept walking, her posture strong and resolute. Seething with anger at such despicable behavior, I followed Lily down the subway stairs. Lily, the fact that the heir of the company you've dreamed of joining is like that, it's awful. Are you all right? On our way home, I asked Lily. She smiled brightly at me.
I'm fine, Mom. It's the company I admire, not him. Still, seeing how he acted, I might need to prepare myself for the possibility of my offer being revoked. If that happens, I'll just try again, so don't worry.
She sounded brave, but I knew how much effort she'd put in to secure this offer. The thought of her losing it over something like this was maddening. I considered reaching out to Zach's father, the CEO, directly, but I knew Lily wouldn't want that. Although I was deeply concerned, I decided to quietly watch how things played out. Thankfully, my worries turned out to be unnecessary. Up until today, the day before she started, her offer hadn't been withdrawn.
Maybe telling him off that day was the right move. Mom, I'm so sorry for making you worry. I'm fine now.
Lily said this as she tried on the suit she planned to wear to her orientation tomorrow. She must be really excited about starting her new job. Her voice sounds more upbeat than usual. I just hope Lily can safely join and thrive at her new job. Honey, wherever you are, you'd better be rooting for her too, all right? Looking at a photo of Lily with her father, I murmured to myself. I had no idea where he was, but I hoped he was always thinking of Lily. I'll be waiting at the cafe just down the street, so let's have lunch together after your orientation.
Got it? I'm off.
With an extra sunny smile, Lily headed to her dream company. Though nothing had happened so far, I couldn't shake off a sense of foreboding. Just in case, I decided to wait near the company. I must seem like an overprotective mom. First things first, let's get through the orientation without any issues. I thought I'd relax with a coffee and a good book while waiting for Lily, so I reached into my bag to take out a book. But then, I saw Lily, who I had just parted with, walking from the company toward the cafe. Lily? I checked my watch. Only 15 minutes had passed since we'd parted ways. When Lily came into the cafe, her eyes were red, and she looked frustrated. What happened, Lily? How's the company? I had her sit down and asked her to tell me what was going on.
There were a lot of new hires at reception, and they handed out our employee badges. Then, mine was the only one like this.
Lily showed me the employee badge she had been given. I almost gasped when I saw it, but managed to hold back. Hers had high school graduate printed in large letters.
I couldn't believe it, so I asked at the front desk, but they just told me, "This is your badge."
Despite her frustration, Lily had gone into the orientation room. Then, as part of the pre-ceremony presentation, that guy Zach took the mic.
To all our new hires, congratulations. You're lucky you get to work with me.
His words stirred up a lot of murmuring in the crowd, but Zach ignored it and kept talking.
You're all probably somewhat capable, I guess. Except for one of you, believe it or not, there's a high school graduate here. Can you imagine? A high school graduate in this day and age. Hey, high school girl, there's no way you'll make it in this company. What's all this about dedication to your responsibilities is? Get out of here before you slow us down.
With that, everyone's attention naturally shifted to Lily, the only one with high school graduate printed on her badge.
The room got so tense and noisy that I knew I had to leave, so I walked out.
Zach had chosen this moment to retaliate against Lily. The way he did it in front of so many new employees left me speechless.
Also, take a look at this.
Lily showed me her phone screen. It was a page from the social media platform that Lily often used. Alongside the post titled, "High School Grad Spotted at Major Company's Orientation," was a photo of Lily. Though her eyes were blurred out, anyone who knew her would recognize her. Adding insult to injury, hashtags like high school grad, rare specimen, and didn't go to college had been added. It was anonymous, but obviously Zach's doing. Even if this was revenge for her rejecting him, his tactics were petty and vile. Lily's red eyes weren't from crying. She was shaking with anger.
I will never forgive him.
Lily said with fierce resolve. She was right. I wouldn't forgive him either. Only a true devil would tear someone down for their own satisfaction. it doesn't matter if he's an heir. I've decided that I won't forgive anyone who takes away Lily's smile. Zach, you'll regret this. One way or another, I'd make him face consequences. After Zach's pathetic attempt at revenge, I wondered about Lily's status, so I called the company to check. They informed me that Lily was still scheduled to join, with her early departure from the ceremony noted as due to feeling unwell. I figured most of the staff at the ceremony were Zach's lackeys, and that his father, the CEO, probably had no idea what had happened. I thought about reporting this to the CEO, but I knew that merely getting Zach a scolding wouldn't satisfy my anger. I wanted to dig deeper into Zach's background and find a way to truly make an impact. The next day, Lily was preparing for her first day at work. Lily, are you sure you're okay? You don't have to push yourself.
I'm fine, really. Besides, I'm just glad I'm officially hired. Who knows what kind of harassment might come my way, though.
With that, Lily slipped on her suit jacket.
Mom, I'm heading out.
And with that, she was off to work. During a break, I decided to dig around online about Zach. There wasn't much information under his real name due to his family's prominence, but I found an interesting post on a message board. It described the young heir Z of a certain big company as a newbie killer. According to the article, Z hosts tasteless gatherings from time to time, inviting other heirs and heiresses. Officially, these gatherings are said to be discussions on the future of American businesses from the perspective of the next generation. In reality, these gatherings seem to serve as a place for crushing promising new employees. Z recently returned from an extended study abroad, so this year's newbie bashing is expected to be even more intense. Reading this, I was sure it was talking about Zach. If one of these gatherings was coming up, Lily could very well be a target. Today, I happen to need to meet with the CEO regarding that major project. Maybe I'll check in on things while I'm at the office. While getting ready to leave, my phone rang. Oh, that's unusual, I murmured, seeing the name on the screen. After answering with a casual greeting, I took the chance to mention something. Lily got her job, you know. Yes, at Cygnus. If you're back in the States, maybe give her a word of encouragement? That's what I said to Lily's father. When I arrived at the company, the CEO was busy with another visitor, unfortunately. Although I was concerned about Lily, it wasn't my place to wander around another company's premises. So, when the CEO's secretary brought me a drink, I asked her quietly. My daughter just joined as a new hire this year. She's in training now, right?
Oh, your daughter's name is?
She is Lily Wilson. When I said that, the secretary frowned slightly. Then, she leaned in and whispered something to me. After hearing what she had to say, I hurried to a meeting room within the company, led by the secretary. Inside the room, there were tables and chairs arranged on either side, where various heirs and heiresses sat. In the back stood their attendants and other followers, all watching. In the center, there was a single chair, currently occupied by a young man who seemed to be a new hire this year. Zach sat at the main table in front, surrounded by his entourage. It looked just like a courtroom. I slipped in among the others at the back to quietly observe. The young man was being subjected to what Zach called necessary questions, but they were more like an interrogation. When he struggled to answer, Zach berated him with harsh words.
Oh, so you joined without knowing that? Impressive guts. What trick did you pull to get in? Your chances of surviving here are close to 0%. Good luck, loser. Trash or scum? Either way, you might as well crawl back to the garbage where you belong.
As expected, Zach's behavior was juvenile. Earlier, the CO's secretary had informed me, which is why I'd rushed over.
Lily was summoned to Zach's gathering.
According to the secretary, Zach's antics were all happening behind the CO's back. I had read about it in the article, but it is a terrible gathering. The heirs and heiresses mocked the new hires who couldn't answer well, laughing at them crudely. They rested on their unearned privileges, looking down on the new employees who had worked hard to climb up. This was a gathering as tasteless as I'd heard. Knowing Lily had been summoned here, I couldn't help but stay to witness it myself. Almost instinctively, I flipped on the voice recorder in my breast pocket. Finally, it was Lily's turn. She walked confidently and took the center seat.
Well, so the high school Grad showed up.
The room erupted in laughter. Still, Lily's expression didn't change.
Answer my questions accurately. If you can't, you'll leave this company immediately. Got it?
What authority Zach thought he had to say such things was beyond me. I wanted to jump out and intervene, but I held myself back for Lily's sake. I held my breath, waiting to see what kind of question Zach would ask. But it was one of Zach's followers who spoke up first. His question was in fluent Italian. Until now, all questions posed to the other new hires had been in English, showing just how fixated Zach was on making things difficult for Lily. It was clear he wanted to humiliate her. After the first question ended, another one quickly followed. This time, a different follower spoke up. The question was in Spanish. The follower spoke in slightly accented Spanish while addressing Lily. Zach seems determined to crush Lily. He's smirking as he watches her. The spectators in the room laughed, finding his antics a bit much.
Well, Lily Wilson, let's hear it. Answer precisely. You get what I'm saying, high school girl? As if you'd understand any of it.
Laughter erupted again. Sitting at the center, Lily let out a small sigh at Zach's juvenile attempt to humiliate her. It was Zach who didn't understand. He was in for a shock if he underestimated Lily. As laughter still filled the room, Lily rose, turned to the man who had questioned her in Italian, and began answering in perfect Italian.
What?
With flawless Italian pronunciation, Lily answered the lackey's question. Zach's eyes widened in disbelief. Next, she turned to the man who had spoken in Spanish and replied just as fluently in Spanish. At one point, the man who had questioned her in Italian tried to cut in, but Lily answered him calmly in Italian. The same went for the Spanish speaker. The three of them even got into a bit of friendly conversation, to the point of sharing a few laughs. Applause broke out from the back of the room. Perhaps there were some among the spectators who had also suffered under Zach. What's more, while Zach had usually questioned the new hires himself, he'd left it to his lackeys for Lily's test. His lack of fluency in Italian and Spanish had been exposed, doubling his humiliation.
Damn it. A high school Grad of all things.
Zach's face twisted in frustration. Lily may have been a high school graduate, but after graduating, she had spent 3 years traveling the world with her father. She'd visited Italian and Spanish-speaking countries many times and could also speak Chinese, Russian, and Korean. She might not have a college degree, but she had a mind that far surpassed that level. Incidentally, the question was, "Where's the best restaurant around here?" Thinking she wouldn't understand, they asked in Italian and Spanish. Humiliated in front of the other heirs and the crowd, Zach leaped over the table toward Lily.
Don't you dare mess with me.
I saw Zach raise his right hand. The fact that he'd go so far as to raise his hand against a woman. He was truly a disgrace. Without thinking, I jumped out of the spectators area. And then,
Whoa, Mom.
I took the slap meant for Lily.
Ugh, you again, old hag. You're annoying.
Zach shouted when he saw me. Seeing the audience's eyes on him, he continued with even more arrogance.
Listen, just because you know a few foreign languages doesn't mean anything, okay? A high school grad is still low class, still bottom tier trash. And you, old lady, I'm about to be part of a $77 million project. $77 million. You can't even imagine that amount of money, can you?
He was trying to assert dominance, not just over me, but over everyone there. A kid who can't even handle foreign languages properly, yet is so eager to show off. With his smug, self-satisfied look, I decided to take him down a peg. Oh really? You're part of a $77 million project. I don't know how you're involved, but if that's true, it's bound to be a spectacular failure.
What?
Ignoring Zach's threatening demeanor, I took out my phone and made a call to a certain someone. Hello, John? Yes, go ahead and cancel the $77 million contract. The CEO's voice came through the line. Zach looked at me with utter confusion. Listen, Zach, you've picked the wrong person to mess with. The room fell silent. Within moments, hurried footsteps echoed from outside.
Rhea, what's going on? Cancel the $77 million contract. What does that mean?
The CEO, led by the secretary, entered with a panicked look. You'd better ask your son here, I replied, glancing at Zach. His once smug expression was now pale with fear.
This old hag is the CEO? You're involved in the $77 million projects? No way.
Fool. This company only got this big thanks to Rhea. This project wouldn't even be moving forward without her. You're clueless, running wild like this.
The CEO glared around the room. He shot each of the young heirs and heiresses a sharp look, chastising them.
You. The moment you returned to the US, you caused trouble again. I told you not to hold these gatherings anymore.
Zach looked down, humiliated. Even Zach couldn't argue in front of his father. To make matters worse, he'd been openly defying his father's wishes behind his back.
Anyway, Rhea is a major benefactor of this company. If you've disrespected her, apologize. And if you can't do that, leave.
Zach glared at Lily and me, frustration clear on his face. At that moment, a man poked his head in from the entrance, and a cheer went up from the crowd. There stood Harry Davidson, the model and influencer.
Oh, Harry, I apologize you had to witness this. Please, this way.
The CEO, flustered, turned toward him. But Harry only laughed, clearly amused.
No worries. Actually, I had some business here too.
Harry looked over at us. Zach took this as his moment. Zach thought he made eye contact with Harry and then shouted loudly to the audience in the room.
See? Harry Davidson came here to see me. Because of my connections, you all got to see Harry Davidson. Appreciate it. He'd never agree to work with anyone else. This company is amazing thanks to me. Show some gratitude, you commoners.
Wondering who the real fool is, I glanced at Harry's face. Harry smiled warmly as he looked at Zach and said,
Who are you?
With that, the entire room burst into laughter. This was practically a comedy sketch by now. Zach's face was beet red, his eyes brimming with tears. And he glared at Lily. But Lily didn't even notice Zach's glare. Her gaze was fixed straight on Harry Davidson.
Dad,
Lily ran up to Harry. Harry welcomed Lily with a warm smile.
Your mom told me to come and cheer you on, so here I am.
Everyone in the room was stunned, including Zach. He stood there, frozen, his face completely drained of color. As Harry gently patted Lily on the head, he said,
Lily, you did great. Let's keep working hard together.
Lily nodded enthusiastically. In front of her dad, she was just a girl. I let out a sigh of relief. Harry, always so free-spirited, was still the same. But he showed up when it mattered. It's likely no coincidence that Harry showed up at this event. He probably learned about Zach's misdeeds and returned because of it. Then again, if I asked him, he'd probably just shrug and say, it's just a coincidence. Turning to Zach, who was now a shell of his former self, I asked one last question. Anything you'd like to say, Zach? Zach shook his head. Even he, foolish as he was, had probably figured out by now that my influence had helped make Harry the company's spokesperson. At the CEO's command, Zach's lackeys stepped in to support him as he slumped down, barely able to stand.
Get him out of here. He's an eyesore.
And so Zach was escorted out of the room. As the crowd sat in tense silence, only one person seemed unaffected. Harry, smiling brightly, winked at me. So, how long are you planning to stay in the States this time? Harry, who was having dinner with us at home, answered my question.
Well, now that I got to see Lily, maybe a year or two. Yeah, maybe I'll stay for a while.
Hearing this, Lily, sitting next to him, happily looped her arm through his. The reason she'd wanted to join that company was to be close to her dad. She wanted to work hard at the same company where he made his mark. Harry probably secured work in the US during his recent discussion with the CEO. I sensed that the CEO was being considerate toward our family. I told the CEO about how Zach had been harassing Lily, including the issue with the high school graduate badge, the incident of being exposed on social media, and that awful gathering. I also had them listen to the audio recorded on the voice recorder. Furious, the CEO sent Zach back overseas. This time, it was uncertain when he'd return. And from what I heard, none of the other young heirs or heiresses defended him. They had seen his lack of intelligence and class for themselves. In truth, they'd never been friends with him in the first place. I also let the CEO know that I would continue the $77 million contract on the condition that Zach had no involvement in the project. The CEO naturally agreed. With Zach out of the country once again, there would be no more of those awful gatherings, and no more new hires would be crushed by their dreams. And of course, Lily would be safe.
Oh, you never know. Lily's cute, just like me, so there's plenty of danger out there.
Harry's doting side as a dad was pretty strong. Incidentally, the news that Harry, a public figure, had a wife and daughter made a small buzz. When a reporter asked him about it, Harry smiled and replied,
I'm 42, you know. It's hardly surprising I'd have a family. Besides, I haven't been hiding it, and I don't intend to.
His straightforward response seemed to be well received by the public. As for Lily, after everything that happened, she began drawing attention as the beautiful high school Grad talent. Fans started quietly growing on social media, partly because she was Harry's daughter. The CEO of Cygnus Corporation was rumored to be planning to feature Harry and Lily as a parent-child model duo at some point, though that remained a company secret.
Why don't we all go for a picnic tomorrow?
Lily nodded eagerly. I decided to wake up early and make plenty of egg sandwiches and fried chicken, both of their favorites.
Dad, Mom, I'm going to grab drinks. What would you like?
Under the bright blue sky, I sent Lily off for a quick errand, and she dashed away like a little kid. Lying on the picnic blanket, Harry watched her with an affectionate smile.
Rhea, thank you.
His sudden words of gratitude left me a bit puzzled.
Thank you for raising Lily into such a wonderful person. I'm so glad I married you, Rhea.
I couldn't help but feel a bit shy at Harry's smiling face. In the distance, Lily waved at us. Right now, I'm happy.